Hey, folks. Okay, guys, check it out. I bought these two Stihl 028s about a week ago. I had been talking to this guy on Facebook for about a week, and he had initially said he had an 028 Super, but then when he sent me pictures, it was an 028, and I had been working on an 028 Super that's actually on the shelf over there that's working out some tweaks. I've done some videos with it, but the chain is real bad, so I ordered a new chain. I have to keep grinding more off the teeth, and I don't like it. But anyways, the point being that one of the saws ran, and one of them he told me he dropped a tree on it 15 or 20 years ago, and he shut it off when it happened because he didn't know if he should run it or not. And I thought, sure, I've heard these stories before. But I've also had guys that told the truth. And this guy had a nice house, real nice garage, expensive things, and just a you know, kind of an upper middle class white guy, you know, suburban, but not live in the middle of the Tennessee woods like me. He's suburban, you know, and so usually when you buy stuff off of, I hate to stereotype, but white guys like that, rich white guys, they're usually telling the truth. And so here's what I've been staring at this saw for about a week. The other one fired right up, and I did notice the other saw had a .325 bar and chain on it, and he bought both of these saws used, so he didn't profess to be the first owner, but he had a carrying case with it. And I had been working on an 028, and so when he said Super, that's why I didn't buy them right away. And I had been telling this guy, hey, bring them to the house and I'll still probably buy them for the price tag you want. I got a really good deal. I knew even just the one saw was a good deal for $150. Maybe not in my business where I'm reflipping it, but sometimes I just service stuff and I sell it used to help people out, so to keep the price lower. But anyways, clutch cover is cracked in half, so definitely not usable to a guy that's all he has and he's in the middle of the woods, but dangerous nonetheless. Usable enough of it's there to use it in an emergency if you had to. If it broke in the middle of the forest and you still needed a cut, you could use that. But I just have been thinking, boy, I wonder if this old beast would fire up with just some fuel. And these had 3/8 sprockets, if I'm not mistaken, always 3/8. I know the 280s have the .325, but he bought these used, and let me show you guys here. Let me bring you in here. I'm gonna flip the camera. On my phone, the other camera is inside and it's reading. Look how terrible this sprocket looks. Look how much is missing there in those grooves. I haven't taken it off yet, but if you know anything about sprockets, it's not supposed to look like that. These are all supposed to be flat and filled in. And the other one looks just like that, and I think it's because whoever owned this saw before him ran the wrong bar and chain on it, or he ran the wrong bar and chain. I haven't verified that these are 3/8 sprockets, but I'm almost certain they are. Every 028 I've ever worked on, or 028 Super, was a 3/8 sprocket. So here's what I'm gonna do. Oh, and this thing is a little bent out of shape. Let me see if I can get an angle to where you can see the saw now. You're not here to see my flapping gums. So it'd be best if I could flip you around, but then I can't see what you're seeing. So this is just a regular Stihl 028 AV WOODBOSS. So we've got that broken clutch cover, and as you can see, I don't know if you can see it. You can see the seams don't line up here. This is warped. You can see right here this gap in the handle back here, okay, where it doesn't connect to the body. So the wrap handle is bent. You can see right there it should be flush against. So it's a little tweaked out. It can be bent back. I don't have a big enough bench vise myself right now, but I'm sure I will at some point, or I'm sure some guy that has one of my neighbors, I can do something to use his. So anyways, I'm just going to go ahead and literally check a couple of things, because if an animal has nested in this, if it's literally been sitting 20 years, if an animal's nested, I don't want to start this motor up if there's something that's just going to kill it right away, if it's still good. So I'm going to pull this off. This is the air filter cover. I'm going to pull the air filter because we got to be able to get to the carb. I want to see what the air filter looks like. And then I'm going to pull the spark plug. I'm not going to put a new one in. I'm not going to clean it unless I'm like, yeah, that's not going to work at all. And then I'm going to pull the muffler just to get a look at the piston. And I'm probably going to drop a couple of drops of gas down out into the spark plug port too, just because if this thing's been sitting for 20 years, even though it's been in a climate-controlled garage, I just don't want to take any chances to ruin it. But I really feel like I've just been staring at this on my shelf for a week, and I'm like, I wonder if that saw will fire. I wonder if that saw will fire. I wonder if that saw will fire. Ah, yeah, that's a little stiff there. Okay, there we go. Yeah, it was a little mucky stuck. It's a little stiff. Yeah, stiff. Goodness. Well, it's definitely turning like it's been on there for 20 years. I think that's what the guy said. 20 or 25. Wow. 20 or 25 years ago this happened. Okay, now I'm just going to take this. This is an old style filter. The choke is actually on the filter itself. Oh, just one screw here. Flathead, you can use your scrunch. And this one's not too bad. Not very stiff. Okay. Carb doesn't look bad. It's a little dirty in there, but we're not looking too bad. Not too shabby. I'm going to pull the spark plug. Maybe. Oh, yeah. Yeah, she was on there good. No corrosion, though. See, like I said, this guy, I do believe this white man, this old white man has had this saw properly stored, and I do believe he just figured, well, I can't use that saw now. I dropped a tree on it. I mean, if you don't mind a crooked handle, the saw is perfectly functional if it runs, in my opinion. But you can easily straighten this handle, and if this saw runs, it needs a new clutch cover. And I'm hesitant to even replace the, I probably will, because they're rubber and they're probably deteriorated. I'll vacuum pressure test it, but yeah. Boy, that's, spark plugs, just like white, basically. Okay, so now, should be 2 T25s on the outside of your muffler for the face. Okay, just kidding, one. This one's missing one. And then that will come off as such. So I just took this bolt off down here. It's supposed to be 2, but and then inside there's 2 T25s. And be careful with these, because I'm going to use an impact, but be careful. Hey, broke right loose. Yeah, this guy definitely did store this in the garage the whole time. Wow. Powerful. I'm excited. I think this saw is going to fire. Okay, so I just want to get a look at the piston, make sure there's no animals nested in there. It did turn over, but I didn't want to pull it too much without lubrication, not knowing what's inside. Oh, this looks great, guys. Some carbon buildup. So I won't run it long if it fires, just enough to see if it fires. I think I'm seeing a little bit of scoring on the piston. Let me see here. Yeah, just a little bit. More like scuffing than it is scoring. Okay, so I'm gonna get some gas here. I'm gonna pour a little bit down the spark plug hole just to pull the cord and lubricate it a little. And I'm just doing a few drops here. Yeah, that's better. There we go. Okay. So, for the sake of having anything too big get sucked back in. I think we'll be alright. Just my ears, boy. This is a small enclosure. I'm gonna go ahead and put the muffler back on. I hate to, because if this saw does run, I'd like to break it down and get it ready for sale. I mean, if it's just fixing a handle and rebuilding it, that's great. Gotta replace no pistons or nothing. Might even sell it as a used service saw. And that's kind of my idea. I'm thinking is to sell this as a used service saw, just straighten the handle and tune it up and vacuum pressure test it. If it's not leaking anywhere, I just, you know, sometimes it's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'll just run it around the property probably for a couple weeks just to be safe, put a new sprocket on it. And I say a couple weeks because, you know, those crankshaft seals, they are rubber, and so if they don't give in the first couple of weeks, they're not going to give. I left the gasket out there, but that's okay. So now I'm literally just going to put the spark plug back in, and I always get nervous about these. I should clean the threads. I like to clean spark plug threads because I see so many spark plugs stripped out, helicoils that I got to do, and so I usually do clean them, but that one threaded really good. These saws, I can tell, were primarily lightly used by this guy. Just cutting up some firewood at home, just basically for like a luxury wood stove. Not like Alaskan firewood cutters or Maine firewood cutters. You know, people like in my climate, some people do burn firewood for their heat, but most people that burn firewood here, they don't understand, if they've never lived up north, what true cutting of firewood is. Okay, so there's that's hooked back up. Now we're going to pour some gas in the carbon. I'm going to give it a good dose here. I'm going to fill this bowl of this carb, and I say bowl, the inside of the carb, all the way. And that's a lot. But if she's going to fire, I want to know now, because I'm not choking it. Here we go, full throttle. Uh-oh. Oh. Can you believe that? Oh, wow. What? I did the serial number. Oh, I smell rancid gas. Woo, yeah. Stanky. Okay, we smell rancid gas. This will need, it looks like somebody tried to let's see, to JB Weld. Maybe that's not plastic weld. It looks like JB Weld. They were gonna fix the caps, so we won't fix them. We'll just replace them. Wow, yeah. If I factor even, I can literally split the cost of these two saws. I bought two saws. Here's the other one, guys. And this one runs. I fired it up in front of him. And the only thing I haven't been able to find out is, so if anybody sees this that knows, I haven't looked yet. I don't ever recall doing an 028 that had no wrap, no cover on the handle. Now this does have like black paint that has worn off. But this one also, you can see, is black paint. But it's got the vinyl, or whatever you want to call it. And these saws, I think, are only like 2 years apart. And I've got another 028 Super over there. So this one I know is 1980, plus or minus 1 year. I traced the serial number. And this one over here, I think, was 1982 or 80. Yeah, I think 1982, and I think mine is also 1982, the Super. But these are both WOODBOSS, and this one is older. It just says Stihl 028 WOODBOSS, and the reason being is it doesn't have the AV that this one does. Almost the same, but not the same, and that's why I'm wondering about the handle. So I'd love any info, anybody out there, and if you look at the chain brake handle, it's real old style. If anybody out there knows, because I'd like to keep it original, but if this was wrapped, I would like to try and find a wrapped handle, or rebend this one to fit this saw and make this the better saw. But wow, what a find on this. I spent a week because I really didn't have the money to spend, and I don't usually buy saws at this price to where there's low margin. I figured this one might just end up being a part saw, but it just didn't look that bad. I was like, wow, And when I got there and he had told me, you guys, that's when I actually officially, my excitement started. When I got there and the guy told me that this was running with a tree on it and he shut it off and just left it alone for 20 years. Because he just was keeping it for spare parts. He bought the other one, decided to put this one in the case. It's been sitting in a carry case for 20 years, you guys. That's that's more than half of my life. And it fires right up. They don't make them like they used to. Who wants this one? Yeah. See, I'd love to get to a point. I would love to have support. Like, comment, subscribe. You guys tell me what kind of content in my repertoire that you want. I do small engine work. I do some mechanical work, but I just do basic mechanical in my car, and half the time I've owned so many different cars that half the time I am figuring it out as I go. I have enough mechanical knowledge most of the time, as long as there's not too much electronic involved, that I can figure it out and see how things work on different models. And if you've done one tie rod, you can figure out how to do almost any tie rod. So could do videos on simple stuff like that though. How to put battery kill switches in your car inside, how to run it inside so you have an on-off switch for your battery if you got a parasitic drain in an older car. Some redneck ingenuity. I hope to do some of that in the future. Some primitive cabin building out in my woods out back eventually. I would like, when I come across good stuff like this, to bless others. I bless others by giving them a good deal on it. But I would love nothing more than to do videos rebuilding the saw, taking my time, cleaning everything up, and sometimes even bringing them back to full restoration. But one like this, you just don't. You let it keep some of its patina and its character. You clean it off real nice, completely disassemble it, clean it off real good, reassemble it, inspect everything, and you put it in somebody's hands to let it live. But you keep it looking, you allow it to keep some of its character and its individuality. And I would love to do that and let you follow in the journey and then give something like this away. I do want to grow the YouTube thing. I have decided it's something I want to do. I'm still uncomfortable doing the videos and stuff, but I'm trying to get there. And so, yeah, that's it. smallengineredemption@gmail.com. You guys, tell me what you think about giveaways. I want to see people coming in. I'm grateful for the few subscribers at this point that I have. I want to grow it. So, like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell so you get the notifications every time I post a new video. God bless you guys.